Good morning, my name is Zepha from 10D and the video is made by Juan 10D. Today, we will be showing you how to utilize Microsoft Excel and its basic formulas. The first of the list is how to name a cell. Simply click any cell, hover your cursor over the name box and click it. Now, you can rename it to anything and press enter. Now, this cell specifically is known as this cell only. In the following, we are presented with a case study. In the yellow text box, it says as follows: if the sales are higher or equal to $20, multiply the price by kaboom. If the sale is higher or equal to $60, multiply the price by rate B. If sales are equal to $100, multiply with rate C. Now, although we could manually input this, if we encounter a mass amount of data that needs to be calculated, it would be a lot simpler if it were in a formula. So, we will utilize the if formula. The if formula is a formula that checks whether a condition is met and does one of two things, either it is true or false. In the first case, we want to check if the sales are higher or equal to $20. So, in the logical test, we input the mathematical formula. Once you are done, we move on to the true or false condition by following it with a comma. If it is true, we then multiply the price by the respective names in the case study. In this case, if it is true, we multiply the price with kaboom, as shown in the video. But if there is a false condition, we put it as follows. We place another if command. To make the command easier, we follow the logical test with another condition. This time, if the sales are higher or equal to $60. If it is, we follow the true condition. Click the price cell and multiply it with rate B, as followed in the case study. However, we still have one more condition, and that's if the sales are equal to $100. So, in the false condition of the second if formula, place another if command. In this last but not least if command, we do the next logical test, whether the sales are equal to $100. Now, if it is, we move on to the true condition, where we multiply the price by rate C. Now, for the last condition, there isn't any mentioned in the case study, so you may leave it blank. To finish this command, we place 3 brackets to finalize. The reason it is 3 is because we have 3 if commands altogether. To fill the rest of the row, just drag it down and you're all done. What you have done is just called the if command, the nested if command, the utilization of a named cell into the formula and copy pasting by dragging it down. Next up, we have to fill in some values, that is the sum, the average, the minimum, the maximum, and the count of the cells. To do this is fairly simple. For sum, insert the command and highlight numbered cells. We will use the discount cells, and it adds them all together. For the average, insert the average command. As the name, it will find the average mathematically. For the minimum, it will find the smallest value within a highlighted number of cells with numbers just like that. It is the same for maximum, but instead, it measures the highest value. For the count, we can use it as follows. Highlight the entirety of the discount cell and highlight 5 more empty ones. The count command counts the number of cells that have values or numbers in them. In this case, since the discount cells do but the extra 5 does not have any, it will read as 5 counted cells. Next, we have the round and integer command, known as int. For round, insert the command and it will ask for the number. Here, we use 5.64. For the number of digits, it will count only the numbers after the decimal point. So if we put 0, it will round 5.65 to 6 because it checks 6 and not 4, thus rounding it up. If we put 1 in the number of digits, it will check 4 and round it down, giving us 5.6. For the integer command, it will round a number down to the closest integer. For example, if we have 1.4, it will be 1. Even if we had 1.99, it will round it down to 1 because the command rounds it down to the smallest integer. Moving on, we have another set of data, a set number of variables from A until E. Here, we will utilize the COUNTIF and COUNTA commands, which both are rather simple. Here, we want to count the amount of A variables. For this, we use COUNTIF. To do this, insert the command and we have the range. Highlight the wanted range. In here, the whole variable column, and follow on to the criteria. Since we want to find A, click one of the cells that have A for the criteria and enter. To do the following, you can do the same as what we did to count A. Onward, we have the use of operators, addition, subtraction, multiplications, and division symbols. They are pretty straightforward for each. Just press the equal symbol and input any value. Here, I used 9 and 3 for each operator as seen as follows. Lastly, we have absolute and relative cell references. For relative, if we multiply 1 by 4, it will show 4, of course. But if we drag it down, it shows that the numbers will be multiplied by those in the same row. This is a relative cell reference. To make it absolute, we will do the same multiplication formula, but instead, we place dollar signs in front of and behind the cell letter. This makes it so that when we drag it down, it will only be multiplied by the cell with other rows except with the cell that has dollar signs. This is an absolute cell reference.